this is Andrew here at Tower, and today I have a quick informative video, and we're going to walk through how to check your chain wear. Now, as you ride, your chain will get worn down and need to be replaced at a certain point, but how do you know when you need to check when you need to replace your chain? Well, this video will walk through it. Now, when your chain wears, it's called chain stretch. Now, the name's a little misleading. Your chain isn't actually stretching. What's really happening is the rollers in between each link, they'll start to get worn down. Obviously, it's metal on metal contact, so over time they will wear down. And as they wear down, the space between the links starts to grow. So what happens as it grows is it starts to slot onto the teeth on your cassette and chain rings, kind of weird spots that they're not necessarily meant to slot into. Now, what this will do, kind of performance-wise, is you'll start to feel your chain slip a little bit. Obviously, as it tries to grab onto a tooth and there's extra space, you may feel it while you're riding. The chain, kind of has a quick jolt of give to it before it bites again. Now, if you ride your bike, a little bit too long with a worn chain, what's going to happen is it's going to start to wear down the teeth on your chain ring and your cassette. When that happens, you're going to get even more chain slip and your bike's not going to shift very well. And replacing a chain is pretty inexpensive. Chains for this run like 15 to 30 bucks depending on your chain. And, that's definitely preferable than spending that money on a chain, a new cassette, and new chain ring. It's a lot of work, and you don't necessarily need to do it as soon as you would if you ran your chain super stretched. Now, how do we check that chain stretch? Well, it's really easy. We just need to have the proper tool. I have in front of me here the really basic Park Tool CC 3.2 chain checker. This is about as simple as chain checker designs get. You can get these from other brands as well. But basically how they work is they're measured for a certain number of links, and it measures the space between them and lets you know if it's stretched. You'll see on one side, it might be tough to see in the video here, but it's stamped on 0.5 and 0.75. Now, typically at 0.5 stretch, you definitely want to change your chain. At 0.75 stretch, you almost always want to change your chain and your cassette. If you are past that 0.75, you definitely 100% want to change chain ring, cassette, and chain. Now, how this tool works is you'll see they have this little rounded side. Just goes right into the chain link and then slots down. Now, this is a brand new chain, so it definitely should not be slotting down as it hasn't been ridden and doesn't have any stretch. But say your chain did have some stretch to it, this would slot right down. Now, if it slots right down in 0.5, you always want to check the other side as well, to 0.75, to see if it is, stretched beyond that 0.5. And that's really all there is to it. There are some higher end chain checkers that do have little gauges and things on them to sort of let you know the exact life of your chain. But something as simple as this is really all that would be needed if you're looking for something really basic. Now, a tool like this will maybe cost you between, 5 to 12 bucks. Pretty simple. Some of the higher end ones, might be like 20 to 30. But those are totally optional. But something like this is definitely a necessity for any at-home bike mechanic if you do plan on doing work on your own bike. If you don't want to get this tool, you can always bring it into a local bike shop, say, hey, can you guys check my chain? And they would be happy to grab their tool, slot it in, and let you know if you need a new chain or not. And that is all there is to it to stay on top of your chain wear. Thanks for joining.